Hello everybody, welcome to our channel. I'm Van Stewart.
And I'm Jen Stewart.
And want to introduce you to our latest video on our travel channel. First of all, today is January 26, 2025. It's a special day because it's my grandson Idris's birthday. So Idris, if you're watching this, happy birthday. Today's show is titled Exploring Nairobi. We're going to continue on our talk about Nairobi, Kenya, our first true international trip together. We talked last time about the arrival at JMIA, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, about 9 o'clock at night, rainy night. Had our driver come pick us up. That went great. And we took the short trip to our hotel. Had a really nice hotel. We stayed at a place called the Cozy Suites in an area called Syokimau. It's a small little suburb in Nairobi, but kind of on the outskirts of the city. A little bit outside, but not too far from the airport. And it was really, really great. The Cozy Suites are right on Shady Road. And what did you think of the Cozy Suites, Jennifer?
I thought it was nice. It was more of a kind of like a boutique hotel, so there weren't as many people there. But I did enjoy, they had a restaurant that was open really late, so that was convenient because we got in late. So that was nice. They had drinks and food. They had one of my favorite foods there, which was, I think, called the samosa.
The samosas, yeah.
So that was good. And I enjoyed that. They had a pool that we didn't really take advantage of because the weather wasn't very hot, but they did have that amenity there, and the staff was really friendly.
Yeah, the staff was great. And we got there late, like she said. By the time we checked into our room, we didn't really think about it, but we got really hungry pretty quickly. And it was like 11 o'clock at night, and I didn't really want to leave. We didn't know the area. It was raining out. Our driver had already gone, so we asked the front desk, is there a restaurant nearby? And they said, yes, on the 7th or 8th floor, I believe. So we went to the 8th floor, and they made us some fresh food right there at about 11 o'clock at night, which was great. Thought that was really cool. And there were actually a couple of other people in there dining at that time of night on a Tuesday or Wednesday, too, which was kind of weird for a weekday. But I thought it was great. And getting to the room itself, well, first of all, the price. I don't remember the exact price we paid because it was in Kenya shillings. But when I first heard the number, I was like, oh my God, that's a lot of money. But I forgot to do the conversion. 140 to 1 Kenya shillings to the dollar. So the price came out to about 20 bucks a night. It was really, really inexpensive. And the hotel was really nice. So I was glad about that. We didn't pay a lot. And the food in the hotel was very nice too. Very nicely priced. The hotel was clean. Really, really clean. But the one thing I noticed was when we first got to the room, I'm looking for the controls for the heater and all that stuff. We had a nice kitchenette in our room, a nice little dining room table, a nice TV. A bedroom was separate, so you could walk in and you have a living room and a foyer and a little kitchen. But there was no air conditioner. That worried me a bit at first, even though we got there at night. We didn't need one, but I thought the next day it might be hot, and what do we do? But what did you think about the weather?
The weather was not hot enough really to my liking, but it worked out fine. I had layers, as you know, coming from Chicago, you always have different layers. So I had a jacket, which was fine, but it was nice. It was sunny, but it wasn't hot. So if you're looking for hot, it wasn't really hot at the time that we went in September.
Well, that was good because we didn't have an air conditioner, so I thought it was great. It got to maybe mid-70s every day, maybe low 80s. But you didn't need an AC. So since we didn't have an AC, perfect. I was happy with that. Had a fridge and a kitchenette in our room, so everything we needed was there. And we also were lucky enough to be probably half a mile to a mile from a huge mall. That was great. And we would walk there quite a bit. But one thing I will say, if you go to Kenya, really if you go anywhere, make sure you get some mosquito repellent with DEET, D-E-E-T. That stuff works well, and you will need it. The mosquitoes were very busy. I don't know if they like the African-American blood, but they were chewing us up pretty good. With the DEET, it helped. We still got bitten several times, but that DEET kept them at bay. And I know for me, I'm kind of a weird guy, so I'd see mosquitoes at night and I'd stay up trying to kill as many as I could. So I had lots of splatter marks on the walls from me hitting mosquitoes with a book. So if you go over there, if you go anywhere, take some really good repellent. And we also had our yellow fever shot, as I spoke about before, so I wasn't really worried about, malaria or anything like that. But we were prepared for it, and we had our DEETs. Take the smaller bottles. We did take a large bottle, and going through customs, they took it. It had beyond the 4 ounces in the bottle. So take smaller bottles, you'll get through customs, they won't bother you. Now, as I said, we're only about half a mile to a mile from a really nice mall, Gateway Mall. Now, the area, as I said, was called Syokimau. And in Syokimau, it's really a developing area. I would love to see what it looks like now since we went there about a year ago. But on Shady Road, or Chadi Road, they had many shops, many stores opening. Another couple of hotels were being built. And our hotel, the Cozy, was right there. And we could walk from our hotel to the mall. So we did that on several days, walked to Gateway Mall. And the mall was great. They had a huge grocery store. It wasn't a ShopRite, but it was a local store that had everything we needed to buy. We bought vegetables, we bought fruit, we bought breads, and just walking back to our hotel. And they also had a really nice restaurant in there called Maverick. What did you think of Mavericks?
I like Mavericks. It was nice just to be with the people who were there. In the dining, I also always went with the samosas, or they had breakfast offerings as well. But I did enjoy going there, and we did multiple times.
Yes, we did. We stayed there several times. We ate there several times. And it was cool because the mall was so close. We'd walk down there and we'd get up to the room, to the hotel, and to the mall area. One straight shot, get something to eat. And the girls at the restaurant kind of knew us after about the second day. So we kept going back. And when I spoke about the pharmacies there, the pharmacy also was in that same mall. It was a really big mall. I want to say 4 levels, I believe. And we actually bought some really cool things at the mall. I'm going to show you some of these things. So I'll show you that in a minute. But we bought some good things there at the mall, and we bought some good things at the outdoor market that we went to later. There are several outdoor markets in Kenya. Our driver drove us around the area. Kenya, as I said, is a very big city, much bigger than I even envisioned. The areas from the gateways to the Westlands to Syokimau, it's just huge. So I would recommend having a driver to navigate you, unless you've been there before and you know it. It's really hard to navigate. So having our driver was a big help. He took us to the outdoor markets. We bought some things, had some outdoor food. You bought some fabrics and clothing. What did you get, Jen?
I did. I got a piece of jewelry in the outdoor market. I believe it's coconut. I could be wrong, but I think that's what the lady said. And then it's dyed. And I also brought a dress with African colors. I love the colors. And so really reasonable prices all the way around. I looked at the tag recently, and there is a Gmail account here. It says Made in Kenya, and it has the person who made this. It looks like her name is Towsy Trends at gmail.com. So I'm going to add that in the description in case you want to contact her. I was interested in having something made because I love fashion. So I really wanted him and I to have something made of the same fabric so that we could wear in our community and to church and that sort of thing. I didn't find a seamstress. We probably weren't there long enough to make that connection. But that's one of my goals, is to, at some point when we go back, to have something made for us. Yeah.
And there was, in the outdoor market, there was a part where they had these little indoor huts by the market, like a long row, almost like a warehouse. And people had separate things out there. They were selling fabrics, shirts, pants, dashikis, whatever. And we went in, and it was like a maze. And the one guy saw us, and they see you're an American or a foreigner, so they want you to come buy from them. They take you on this winding route back to their shops. And then, of course, to get the Mazunga tax kicks in, where they want to upcharge you for everything. A $20 outfit becomes $200 because you've got it. So we didn't really fall for that, but we did buy a few things there. And I'll show you a few things I bought. This is a mini Maasai shield, which I thought was pretty cool. The Maasai are those really tall warriors in the red and black prints that you'll see when you go to Kenya. But I had to get the shield. I thought that was so cool. I also got a couple of Maasai bracelets. This one actually is too small for my big wrist, so I can't even wear it. Here's another drawing of the Maasai warriors. I can with the male and the female, I believe, yeah. And you see he's holding the shield that I just had in my hand a minute ago. I thought that was cool. And one of the things I bought at the mall, which I thought was really neat, there was a guy selling these large spears. It was great, but I'm not going to go to the airport with a 7-foot spear. Don't think customs will let that go through. But he had these really neat games. And this game, he explained it to me. We even played a couple of rounds. I can't recall how to play it. I can't recall the name. I'll have to look it up. But the point is to move these little beans around these little holes, kind of like a Chinese checkers type thing. But it was so much fun. And of course, it took me about 5 tries to beat him once. I I think he probably let me win. But I love the embroidery on the case. Really cool. I forget the name. I'll look that up and I'll try to put that into the description as well when I find out what the name of that game was. But those are just a few of the items we bought at the malls and at the outdoor markets. So we had a great time doing that one. And then my favorite part. Let's talk about some food and restaurants. There was one restaurant that we actually had to have a reservation at called Carnivore. And this is one, I believe James, our driver, told us about this one. The place was amazing. It's called Carnivore because they specialize in meats. Any type of meat you can think of, they had. I had alligator, chicken, pig, beef, pork.
You forgot one.
What do I have?
Ostrich.
Ostrich, yeah. We had everything. And what they do is they have these little flags they bring you, right? They put all these flags on the table. Each flag is for a different type of meat. Guys come around and they will slice meat off and put it on your plate. If you want them to stop bringing you food, you lay the flag down all the way. If you want them to just kind of give you a minute or a breather, you just put the little handle down. And even if you put the flag down on the table, they're going to keep bringing you food. They want you to taste everything. So we had, I think, was there a tiger on there? I don't remember. I can't recall that one. But there was so many meats. I ate till I was stuffed. And we had a couple drinks there too. The ironic thing was I was worried about the bill. This bill's going to be huge. You're eating all this fancy meat. The bill was about 50 to 60 bucks total. I was shocked. And that was the most expensive meal we had there, about 25, 30 bucks a piece. The food was amazing,
Well,
though.
if you remember, we invited James to come eat with us, but he declined, so we bought him food as well. So for three
That's
people.
true. That's true. 3 people, actually. Yeah, we invited our driver to come and eat with us. He said, no, I'll sit in the car. I guess he wanted to have that air of driver or whatever privilege, I guess. I don't know. But he sat in the car, and we brought him out a to-go bag from Carnivore. Like I said, the food was amazing, and I'm really glad we went there. It was a great place, great ambiance. I haven't seen that many foreigners in any one place while we were in Kenya, except at that restaurant. Lots and lots of foreigners were there. I think it was a well-known spot to go check out. So we did that, and we also went to a nightclub.
Yeah.
James took us to a nightclub called The Garage. And I will say, I like 80s music. I'm an old timer. But the music there was amazing.
Yes.
Much better than the stuff you hear on American radio today. I was just impressed. The music was great. The drinks were nice, very inexpensive. And we actually did have James come in there with us. And I will have a short of that to add to our submissions this week, too. So you can see what the Carnivore looks like. You can see what the Garage looks like. And I think I even have a picture of some of our drinks. The drinks were pretty cool. So that was fun. And I think we went to one more restaurant that I can't recall the name on the next day, but it was closer to downtown Kenya. It was really nice. It was one that James recommended as well there. So we had a really good time trying out restaurants and trying out food. Also, we got to check out other malls. The Gateway Mall was the mall nearest to where we were living, or staying rather. But we went to several other malls, including Two Rivers Mall. Two Rivers is the best mall I've been in probably in my life. It was amazing. I've got a short that I uploaded yesterday of Two Rivers Mall, and you can kind of see us walking through the mall. A big they have a big train ride. The kids can get on the train and ride in the mall. There's just so much to do in that mall. And there was everything. There were a couple of grocery stores. ShopRite was in the mall. You name it, they had it there. So if you get to go to Kenya, stop by Two Rivers Mall. We also stopped by another mall, which I can't recall the name. It was just great. The city of Nairobi, all the malls are huge and they're all fully staffed. I mean, they're booked out. There's stores everywhere you go. In America, a lot of our malls are not as robust as they once were. Stores are closing down. You see a lot of empty malls, malls shutting down. Not that way in Kenya. The malls are fantastic, lots of people. The food went to a burger place. And I will admit, that hamburger, I'm not sure what it was made of, didn't seem like a hamburger. But the chicken was great. Had the chicken, had the fries, I think had steak. She had the samosas, which she always enjoyed. So the food was pretty good. And we also bought some little knickknacks there. We bought a lot of trinkets. I'm glad we took that extra suitcase because we brought back a lot of stuff. Some was in our house on display. Some we gave up for gifts. Some I gave to some of my coworkers. I even gave the plant manager at the plant I worked at, I gave him some pencils. There was a place in the mall where a woman took recycled pulp and paper and she made pencils out of it. And since I'm an environmental manager for a pulp and paper company, I thought, hey, I'm going to take this around and show the folks what they're doing in Kenya, in Nairobi, with paper. So that was pretty cool. So we had a great time. What did you think about those other malls we went to?
I enjoyed the malls. I really like to see and experience the local people. I love the fashion, of course, and just window shopping. I mean, we bought a lot of gifts and bought a few pieces for ourselves, but I did enjoy just being with the local people. I also felt throughout the trip very safe. I know some people worry about traveling to other countries and that sort of thing, but in Kenya, I didn't feel stressed. I wasn't worried about the police. I didn't feel like the locals were very friendly. Like, we would go shopping in the stores and they weren't overselling. I didn't feel like with the stores and the malls that they were overselling, but they were very willing to help, and I was always asking for a conversion. So,
I kept my calculator out to convert quickly because I can't, the math in my head wasn't working, the math wasn't mathing. So I kept my computer, a little calculator on my phone in my hand all the time.
yeah, so that was nice.
That was fun. Now, one thing we cannot miss, one of the big parts about our Kenya trip was the safari. We've uploaded one short with the safari pics. We'll upload another short today. But the safari was amazing. We didn't get to see any lions on the safari, unfortunately. But when we walked in, it was great. You walk in and there are the Maasai warriors are out there. You can take a picture with the warriors if you want to as you enter into the safari park. And then when you walk through, I had to go to the bathroom really bad. We had just eaten earlier. And you see these monkeys hanging out by the bathroom. And I was kind of afraid to go because these monkeys, they're not little monkeys.
No.
They probably came maybe to my waist, maybe a little bigger than that. And they were waiting outside the bathroom. I'm like, are they going to want a tip or what? I didn't know what's going on. But they followed me. And one of the guys said they smell food on you and they want to know if you're going to give them something. Because I guess people feed them and they say don't feed them, but people do. And the monkey followed me right to the bathroom. And I'm like, okay, I hope he's gone when I get out of here. When I came out, I didn't see him. I thought he was gone. And Jennifer pointed up. He was on the roof waiting for me to come out. That guy who didn't jump on me, that little monkey wanted something to snack on. I had nothing to give him, so we just got out of there. Then we actually our driver drove his car through the safari. You can take a tour with a group, but luckily our driver, James, knew everybody there. And he said, well, no, I'll just drive you through in the taxi, in his car. So we drove through the safari park in his car. We got videos of him in the front seat driving us, and we're going through. The first thing we saw when we got into the safari park was a huge giraffe. And I've never realized how big giraffes really are. They're ginormous. They're huge. I just didn't know. And we got there, I want to say about, noontime or so?
Yes.
And we drove through the entire safari park several times. He knew the tour guides in the safari park. So they were telling him where to go. They say, hey, if they want to see this, take them over there. Because the animals move around the park. They don't just sit there for you, obviously. And there were lions there, so we were trying to catch a glimpse of a lion. But obviously when the lions come around, the other animals take off. So we couldn't catch up with the lion. We did see a carcass that the lion had started to eat, which is kind of scary. But we saw the giraffe, and the one animal that I can't get out of my head was the rhino. What did you think about that rhino?
The rhino, it really made me think that dinosaurs are real. I mean, it was huge, it was massive. That and the hippos that we saw in the water.
Yeah, I didn't think the rhinos were as big as that, but when you see a rhino in person, oh yeah, it's got some size to it. And I didn't know about the hippos. Hippos kill more people than any animal. Their bite force is amazing, and in the water, they don't look that big until they rise up. When they rise up, the hippo was just as big as that rhino, I bet. It was huge. We saw crocodiles, we saw, those little birds. I don't remember the name of the little pigeon birds.
Yeah.
We saw one, and then about 300 or 400 followed that one, and they're everywhere. So we saw that. We saw these little gazelles. We saw lots of zebras, as they say, and they're everywhere. But they tell you don't reach out and pet them because they'll bite you. They can be mean. But we saw a mother zebra nursing a couple of young ones. We saw the gazelles. We saw the rhinos. We saw the hippos. We saw the ostriches there. And ostriches are much bigger than you think. Yes. That's a big bird. That could feed a couple of people at Thanksgiving if you had an ostrich instead of a turkey. But that was fun. Drove through the entire park. They had several watering spots there. They had several posts so you can mark where you were. We got to take pictures. We didn't get out of the car. They tell you don't do that. But there was a walking section where you could walk after you enter into the park. And when you go further into it, they tell you to stay in your car at that point. But I thought that was so much fun. And we stayed there really until closing.
Yes.
We closed the park out, which was kind of nice. And obviously with our driver, James, helping us out. Hey, James, we got to go in there and just see everything. So I was so excited about that. The whole thing was fantastic. And check out the shorts. We'll upload the videos and scenes of the safari tour. I think you really enjoy that.
And if I could do one thing over again, I probably would have gone to the safari like day one and then gone back to see it again, because again, we didn't get to see the lions or elephants. And so you probably would have had a chance to get to see those. But in my opinion, that was amazing. Like, you'll never forget if you get the chance to go see that.
Yeah, that's true. Now, one thing I thought was really odd, when you get to Kenya, you'll notice how close the safari is to the main city. You can look over and you see the city of Kenya with the people, the buildings, the restaurants, the skyscrapers, and then you look over this way and there's the safari. There are wild animals like a couple of miles away, and they don't go to the city. I guess they don't like people, but they tend to stay away. So it's really weird to see a safari inside a major urban city like that, but you're nowhere from the people, and the animals stay on their own and the people stay on their own. So that was kind of cool. But we definitely want to go back and spend more time there and want to see the elephants. I want to see some more animals. I would love to see a lion. I thought we were going to get a chance to see one, but we didn't. So we definitely have to make a trip back to Kenya someday. So that was the bulk of what we did. The last day we were in Kenya, we really just rested. We had a lot of activity going on. We wanted to go back and see a few things. I think we just went to one more shop and got some food, went to one more restaurant, came back and we packed. It was kind of a sad time because I wanted to stay longer, but we had to get back to the States. So we packed up and got back. Our flight left pretty early that morning, I thought. I can't remember the exact time, but James came and picked us up. And the cool thing is, I had so much money left over after the conversion, I didn't know what to do with it. So I just dumped out my wallet and gave him a whole bunch of Kenya shillings. It didn't really hurt us that much, but I guarantee you, when you see the salaries that people make over the course of a year, it's probably a lot of money to just give somebody. And even though I gave him the rest of the money I had in Kenya shillings, checked my wallet when I got home, I still had about 700 Kenya shillings left in my wallet. So I have right now a couple of 100 shilling notes, a couple of 50 shilling notes, some 5s, some 10s. 700 Kenya shillings is like around $5. So it's not a lot of money US, but it's something I may keep till I go back or just give away. Who knows, I might raffle it off on our channel. If you want some Kenya shillings, you may give it to some lucky viewer out there. But we got back to Jomo Kenyatta Airport, got on our plane, took Lufthansa and came back home. And when we got back home, we rested for about a day or two before we had to get back to work. One thing about travel, you'll notice, when you take a long international flight of say 9, 10 plus hours, that lag will hit you. When you come home, allow yourself a little time to kind of decompress and get back to it. So luckily we'd have to go right back to work, but I think we're back to work in a couple of days. So when we go back, I think we'll have a better idea of what we want to see, some additional sites, and hopefully we can look up some old friends and have James take us some other places. But that was pretty much our Kenya trip. Now, next time we talk, I want to tell you guys about our next big trip internationally. We went to Mexico, and that was great. We flew into Cancun, but we stayed in a place called Playa del Carmen, and we went all over Mexico. It was great. Got lots of videos, lots of shorts to upload. I'll tell you guys about that. But until then, you guys take care, and we'll see you at the carousel. Bye-bye.